Yeah, I was playing Magic the Gathering last night, and it reminded me. I'm gonna go here. It reminded me that there is variance even in the most competitive of games, right? CS, there's variance in the bullet spread. It's controllable, but there's variance. Um, Card games, you have to build your deck, but you don't have access to every single card in your deck. Your opening hand, right? You only have 7 or 5 depending on the game. You have to build a mana base. Sometimes you'll draw the mana you want, or the lands you want, or the energy or resource you want, and then other times you won't. That's variance, but you control that variance by deck building. And even in fighting games, there's some amount of controllable variance, and I can actually show that here in a second with a character like Lily, right? I can show it with a bunch of different characters, but I was like looking at a certain like combo thingy he has. I forgot how to do it, so I'm gonna have to go remember really fast.
Get ready for the
Ooh, that's really
battle.
loud. But the main thing is, people like to call a game bad when it's like, holy shit, really loud. When it's RNG, right? People are like, oh, this game's RNG, so that makes it bad. Or, oh, this game has too many. Is it this? Yeah, it's that on counter hit. I think it's that on counter hit. It is, yeah, it's that move on counter hit. Yep, very right. Okay, I was just making sure I had the combo right, which is good. I just gotta remember it. So, in even the most competitive of games, there are small pieces of what feels like RNG or variance, and to some they make the experience feel less skillful, right? But in that variance, you have to find control generally, and that is how the skill is dictated, right? We can look at something like a card game, for instance, where I was playing Magic the Gathering last night. I was playing a draft. I was like 4-3 or 5-3, and then I had like one more I could have pushed forward, but I drew a really bad first hand, or a really good first hand, but with the wrong color mana, and I kept it and didn't see any of the color mana that I needed, right? That is an example of controllable variance. The deck that I have has the mana that I need, has the colors of mana that I need, but in my opening hand, I did not get them. The way you control that variance is by deck building and mulliganing, right? Let's look at something like a shooting game. Let's look at Fortnite. Let's look at Call of Duty, right? Let's look at some bigger shooting games. In those games, the bullet spread exists. The recoil on the guns exist. Some people say that there's patterns, but some guns actually do have some amount of random kick. But the way that the kick and the recoil and the bullet spread works, generally, is when you shoot slower, or I guess if you're on a mouse, if you shoot slower, generally the bloom or the reticle will recenter back for more shots than not, which means you're more likely to hit shots that instead would be spread or would get recoiled out. That is another way of controlling variance. Very simple one, very easy, just like the card game example, right? And these games are way more known for variance than something like a fighting game. The reason why this gets brought up, I don't usually talk about Leffen or his antics in chat or the people that he's arguing with, but Leffen made a point on one of his recent streams when I was watching. I don't usually watch Leffen's stream, but he was streaming Tekken, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Leffen. Let's see how he's enjoying Tekken. Let's see how his chat is treating him. They weren't treating him well. There wasn't very many glazers there for him, unfortunately. So essentially, he mentioned that he feels that the movement is too RNG. And Speed Kicks, very prominent North American Tekken player, very good North American Tekken player, Hwarong player, also had a short stint in Street Fighter, played Jury, so maybe you guys have heard the name, maybe you haven't, but he's a very well accomplished American Tekken player. Speed Kicks made the argument, or Speed Kicks asked what he meant by the game had variance in movement when the movement is so good and the movement is relatively safe compared to a lot of fighting games, right? You backdash in something like Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, you just get hit and full comboed for it. You backdash in even other 3D fighters, backdash and sidestep in Virtua Fighter or Soul Calibur. There's actual frames where you can be hit -12, -14, -16, depending on the game. But in Tekken, Leffen argued that the biggest variance comes from Korean backdash. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Korean backdash is a type of movement tool, a movement tech that was discovered a long time ago, and it's that you cancel your backdash because backdashing into another backdash is really slow. If you go back, it's going to go really slow. You're not going to create a lot of space. It's a little easier to do in 8 to just mash backdash because they made the ending frames of backdash slower, or they gave it less recovery frames, so you can just keep mashing back. In older games, that was not the case. So the fastest way to move was to cancel your backdash with another input first, right? If you press up or down, generally you'll end up sidestepping. But if you press down back or up back, if you press up back, you'll jump. If you press down back or down forward specifically, you could also do it with forward, but that seems weird, counterintuitive. Down forward or down back, you will cancel your backdash, and then you can go back to back again. So you can go back, down back, down back, down back, right? And you can continue doing that on Korean levers. You can like cheese it and let go of the lever a certain way so you get an extra back input. You only have to press back once, but that's besides the point. And in that, he said, for the small frame, you are pressing down back. You will RNG randomly sometimes block someone's low and kill them when all you are trying to do is move. It unnecessarily rewards the player who is being defensive, while the player who is trying to check them for being defensive and running away can get punished very hard. The argument Speed Kicks make is that you can play to the timing of their backdashes and try to snipe their backdashes with a mid, right? Even if it's like a quick mid, it doesn't need to be a launch. Like you can, during their backdash, because they're holding down back for a few frames or pressing down back for a few frames, you can now use a mid in that instance, right? You can hit them with a long range mid to try to check their backdash during their down back. But the reason why it was called Variance is because there's 2 to 3 frames. If you're playing on leverless, you can probably only press the down. You could probably feasibly get down back in 1 frame for 1 frame very consistently. I've seen the inputs of Korean pros. I was watching some replays yesterday or day before yesterday, and I was watching them do Korean backdashes, and their KBDs, generally they had 2 or 3 frames of down back. That means that there are 2 or 3 frames where they might accidentally block a generic low and kill you while all they were trying to do is move, right? That is variance in a sense, I guess, right? But it's controllable variance because it means that you can choose to try to snipe your opponent's backdash. If you're fast enough, if you understand the rhythm of their movement, if you understand the timing of their movement, and Tekken 3D fighters in general are very timing-based games, you can snipe their backdash with like a full launch, a full mid launch if you want, just a quick mid check. A low once you see that they've stopped backdashing, or that they're barely starting their backdash. They're on the back. Those 2 frames of them pressing back, you can hit that with the low. They can't move to the down back yet because they're still initiating that first backdash. All right, form of controllable variance. The other is in combo structure and in combo variety. This one's interesting. It happens more frequently in 3D fighters because in 3D fighters, a lot of times the hitboxes and hurtboxes change, or the hurtbox changes of the opponent when their back is to you, right? So Lily has a combo. It's very interesting. Lily has a combo off this button, right? And what a lot of people say is just do like this. Do I think it's back 1-4, right? If you do back 1-4 after this, there you go. You got your little 56 damage. You got your combo, and you don't have to worry about them being back turned, because in that spot, unfortunately, they're back turned, which means your normal combos might not work. All right, let me show you. Oops. Right, so normally I'd do this into this. It didn't work. And the reason why it didn't work is because she's not realigned. Right, that combo variance in the fighting game aspect of Tekken, not the movement aspect, comes from creating a sidestep opportunity, a sidewalk opportunity mid-combo to like realign, or using a small different pathing. So what I learned is instead, Lily can do back 1 forward, and it puts her in do glide. So what I'm supposed to do here, oh, what the hell? Oh, nice. What I'm supposed to do here is I'm supposed to do do glide. And the reason why is because in that do glide, there is a moment in time where if you press your tornado button from do glide, which is do glide 3, if you press that at the right time, you actually force Reina, or whatever character you're fighting in, to realign. You force them to go back to front turn. So, as you see, this is the combo I was doing before. Let me do it again. Because the other combo wouldn't work. You might even be able to do like heat burst there. Oops. I don't think you can because they're back turn. So you can't get that. You have to just take the little baby combo you can get. Or you can try to do the do guide combo and get the timing. Too late? It's probably not hard. Yep, got it. Almost. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Right? And because I did that during the combo, I did a realign, like a move that gives me more time to realign them. See, now they're still back turn, so I did it wrong. Oops. Wow, my sidestep sucked. There we go. She's forward aligned. You can actually see when she's forward aligned if you're like staring at the character. But generally, people, if you watch a lot of Tekken pros, if you watch higher level Tekken play, you'll see people do sidesteps in their combos. And the reason why is because there's a sidewall in the way, messing up the combo route they were going to go for, or they need to realign to push you to the wall, or you're out of line. You're out of sync with the front of their character, and they need to be in the front of you to do their basic bread and butter. And sometimes their combo routes are so good that they actually have time to sidestep mid-combo and realign their combo if you were off sync, right? If they did like a small sidestep, you went too far behind and they launched you, they can do like a quick tornado move, sidestep to you, and then finish the rest of their string that maybe otherwise would drop, just like we saw in this instance. In every competitive game, there's some amount of variance. There's some amount of wonkiness and jankiness and like what feels like randomness at play. The best thing to do is to find ways to mitigate said RNG, said randomness, said variance, or make it feel as less impactful as possible. Less impactful as possible. I said that right. These games have been played, like competitive games have been played for hundreds of thousands of years, right? People have been playing chess, football, basketball, for longer than video games have been around. Longer than some card games have been around, right? But the basic building blocks still stand. That every game will have some amount of variance, not usually because they're trying to appeal to casuals, but because games are hard to develop or hard to create. And sometimes that variance in the game helps dictate the better skill level, right? How can you play around said variance, right? A good example, because Leffen was mentioned, we can talk about ghosting or phantoms. I think they're called phantoms in Melee. Phantoms are a type of hit where, for some reason, because of the in-game clock, you'll get a hit, but it won't actually, like, it'll hit them for, I think, damage, but it won't give them knockback. Because you hit them on a certain frame, like, in sync with the game's internal clock, or out of sync with the game's internal clock. If you hit them on the wrong frame, you get a phantom hit. And phantoms technically have a rhythm. You can find how to never phantom someone if you know the in-game clock for the game. But it is so unpredictable at a human level that we just consider it RNG. In a computer standpoint, if you watch like a toss bot, they'll probably never get a phantom. But we are humans, right? You're not going to snipe every backdash in a Korean backdash. I understand. You might randomly be trying to backdash and block some of the low and launch punish them because all the lows in this game are like minus 14, minus 15. Not all of them, but you guys know what I mean. At least the longer reaching ones, maybe generic lows, down fours, down threes, things like that. You might randomly catch someone's low. There is a rhythm. There are 60 frames per second, and a backdash could be like, I don't know, 12 frames, 14 frames, right? Back, down, back. You could probably get it even less than that. You probably get it in like 8 frames. So if you randomly throw out your low because you're trying to check their backdash and they block it because their backdash timing was too different, that is what they consider, that is what they are arguing is variance. It's controllable once you understand how it works. Same thing with combo structure in some of these 3D fighters. Same thing with deck building and mulliganing in a card game. Same thing with recoil, bloom, and like bullet drop in a shooting game. All competitive games have variance, but the skill comes from not letting the variance dictate how you play, but using that variance as a skill gap for your opponent. Do I know how to do my cool realign combos and my opponent can't? Do I know how to play along the wall and make sure that my wall combos actually hit and my opponent doesn't? Do I know how to backdash in such a way where I can catch the rhythm of my opponent's lows and launch them for it? Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish talking about a very interesting concept when it comes to competitive gaming. Leave a comment down below if you feel that games in general have too much RNG, too much bloom, too much recoil, too much variance in the cards I draw when I play online simulators because they don't want me to win any more games because I've won too many tonight. It's the matchmaking killing me, man. Signing out. Wait. Yeah, subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. You commented that. But now I need you to do the other call to action things. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be fucking sick if we could make it there. Share this video with a friend who likes any of those kinds of video games and is always calling things RNG and not just admitting that it's partially a skill issue. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes talking about controllable variance and competitive gaming, multiplayer gaming. Signing out and saying